Okay, Wildcats. Today we're looking at Thursday, May 9th, Introduction to the Unit Circle on page 82. If you would, update your table of contents. Okay, now your table of contents are updated. Let's take a look at the unit circle. All right, so first thing we want to do is start filling in the degree aspect, okay? So we know that this is 0 degrees, okay? Now, the best way to think about how many degrees this is let's see how many pieces there are. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those pieces out of 360 degrees, okay? So to understand this degree, let's get a note card and think about it. Well, 360 divided by 12 is 30 degrees, okay? So each of these pieces, which will do yellow, is 30 degrees. So 30, that would be 60 degrees. This would be 120 degrees, 150 degrees, 180 degrees, 210 degrees, 240 degrees, 270 degrees, 300 degrees, and 330 degrees. Okay. Now let's look at this piece. Okay, so let's see how many of those there are. Well, looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be 360 divided by 8. And that just looks terrible. Let me try to redo that. Which is 45 degrees. Okay, so each of these pieces is 45 degrees. So this would be 45 degrees. Now, almost forgot, this is 90 degrees. So if you add 45 degrees to the 90 degrees, this will be 135 degrees. If you add 45 degrees to 180 degrees, this is 225 degrees. Now, if you add 45 to 270, this is 315 degrees. Okay, so that's gotten all the degrees around the unit circle. But let's look at one more. If you have 360 divided by this piece, okay, which we'll do in purple, is it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those pieces. Which is 60 degrees, which we already went around and got those with the 30 degrees, okay? Now, that's in degrees. Now let's look at pi, okay? We know that the start is 0 pi, and we know full circle is 2 pi, okay? Well, we know if the full circle is 2 pi, then half that is Okay. And then we know that half of pi is pi divided by 2. And we know that to get to here, that's 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2. This would be 3 pi divided by 2. Okay. Now, to understand the rest of the circle going around in pi, let's do the same thing we did with the circle. We know for this piece, okay, that would be the full circle is 2 pi, but there's 12 pieces. So 2 pi divided by 12 reduces to be pi divided by 6. Okay. So this would be pi divided by 6. And then to understand the pieces that connect, we're going to make our bow tie. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this would be 5 pi divided by 6. 6, 7, this would be 7 pi divided by 6. 8, 9, 10, this would be 11 pi divided by 6. Okay. Now let's look at the green piece. Okay, we know, and then connecting with the bow tie. Okay. Now we know that this is 2 pi and there's 8 pieces. So 2 pi divided by 8 is pi divided by 4. Okay. So we know this piece is pi divided by 4. So this would be 1, 2, 3 pi divided by 4. And then that would be 4, 5 pi divided by 4. And then that would be 6, 7 pi divided by 4. I'm going to have to expand the camera a little bit. See more of it. There we go. All right. Now the next piece is 2 pi divided by 6, which reduces to be pi divided by 3. Okay. So we know this is pi divided by 3. So that would be 1, 2 pi divided by 3. And then 3, 4 pi divided by 3. And 5 pi divided by 3. And almost forgot, let's color code the bow tie. And I'm hoping you can see the purple in the video. If not, this line I'm drawing, if it looks black, it's purple. Okay? So you have 3 colors: yellow, green, purple. And you need to yellow, green, purple. That should be the order of your colors in the first box right here. So yellow, green, purple. Okay, so we have the, let me go, that's about as far as I can go out. All right, so we have the degrees, the pies. Now we're going to start looking into the points through the inner circle, okay? Now, before we do that, we have to understand quadrants, which we know this first quadrant is positive, positive, and that has to do with the x, comma, y, okay? Now, this quadrant is negative, positive, and this quadrant is negative, negative, and this quadrant is positive, negative, okay? All right, the next thing is the radius of the circle, unit circle, is 1. So this length, this point is 1, 0, okay? Which would mean this would be 0, positive 1. This would be negative 1, 0. And this point would be 0, negative 1. All right, now the next part is we need to look at using special right triangles. Now, theta being the degree, if we think of this as a right triangle, this is the x, this is the y. And we're going to think about that, which each piece is a triangle, okay? Now, we know this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle, so let's review 30, 60, 90, okay? Now, we know 30, 60, 90, 30 is across from x, okay? 60 is across from x squared to 3, and 90 is across from 2x. Well, we know that from our information from our special right triangles is that, let's let x equal 1/2. So that is your y value. Okay. That this would be square root of 3 divided by 2, which is your x value. All right. Now, and let me take a step back and help you understand why this is 1/2. Okay. This length is equal to 1. So we can say that 2x equals 1. Okay, because we know the radius is 1. Okay. So if 2x equals 1, we divide both sides by 2. X equals 1/2. Okay, and that's where the 1/2 comes from. Okay. Now, we're going to use this information to help us fill in the x and y in each piece, okay? So, we know that in this case for 30 degrees, okay, that the y is 1/2 and the x is square root of 3 divided by 2. Now, this next piece, this is 45 degrees, so let's review 45 degrees, okay? Now, let me do what I should have done at the start of this is set this equal to 1 first. So, we have x square root of 2 equal to 1. Okay, well, we divide square root of 2 by both sides. This becomes 1, but here's the problem. We can't leave a square root in the denominator, so we need to multiply this by square root of 2 divided by square root of 2. Well, this becomes the square root of 2 divided by 2. Okay, so x is the square root of 2 divided by 2, which makes this the square root of 2 divided by 2, and we already said that this is equal to 1, because this length is equal to 1. Okay? So go ahead and say that the radius is equal to 1. Now this is 90, this is 45, this is 45. This is your y value, which is the square root of 2 divided by 2, and our x value is the square root of 2 divided by 2. Okay, that means that the x and y value at 45 degrees is square root of 2 divided by 2, and the square root of 2 divided by 2. Okay. Now, this is when it's 60 degrees. So let's make a triangle where this, again, radius is 1, where this is 60 degrees. Okay. Well, we know that 60 is across the square root of 3 over 2. So that's your x value. And then our y value is 1/2, because that's across from 30 degrees. Okay. So that means this is 1/2. This is square root of 3 divided by 2. Now, the cool thing is, once you understand this quadrant, that's why the bow tie is very important, okay? These are the same point, except for they have to follow the quadrant rules of negative, positive. So, following the bow tie, this would be negative square roots of 3 divided by 2 and 1/2. Okay? Again, following the bow tie, same point except for negative and negative. So this is negative square root of 3 divided by 2 and negative 1/2. Okay, again, following the bow tie, same point except for positive, negative. So positive square root of 3 divided by 2, negative 1/2. All right, now green line. Same point except for negative, positive. So negative square root of 2 divided by 2 and square root of 2 over 2. Okay, same point except for negative, negative. So negative square root of 2 divided by 2, negative square root of 2 divided by 2. Okay, same point except for negative, negative. So negative 1/2, negative square root of 3 divided by 2. And almost forgot, same point here. So negative 1/2 square root of 3 divided by 2. And same point except for positive, negative. So square root of 3 divided by 2 and negative 1. Oh, wait, almost made a mistake there. Forgot, same point. This would be positive 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. And it looks like I forgot one. So I follow green. Green is square root of 2, square root of 2, but positive, negative. So positive square root of 2, 2, and negative square root of 2 over 2. So again, the emphasis is once you know quadrant 1, you know all the points in the unit circle. Because on all you have to understand is the same points except for they follow the positive, positive in quadrant 1, negative, positive in quadrant 2, negative, negative quadrant 3, and positive, negative. Okay, so there is your unit circle. Go ahead and finish that up. And have a wonderful Wildcat day.